Welcome to the Stretch2Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray. I'm your host for today, and we have Andrew Maraj
Yes.
here from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And my brother, welcome to the Stretch2Go podcast.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, man. Very grateful.
Yes, sir. So, man, give us a spiel. Who are you?
Yeah.
What do you do for work? What's your business? Go ahead, man.
I moved here because my fiance lives here, so I came for love. But it's been good. I've been getting the glove back in business. I also do personal training as well, so I've kind of blended the two. But I'll be honest, I have like really separate. So I'll have like separate people I just do strictly training with, and then I have a lot of separate training clients that I obviously do the FST, and I sprinkled some energy work, so Reiki. I have cupping that I've added into it. I do some Graston work. And then I took a course called Matcha Method. So his name is Matcha Method on Instagram. Crazy talented dude. And it's more of like a Thai massage. I would say I can't really describe it in its own way, but it's derived from Thai massage. So I took that course as well. So just through all my years of doing it for now and in a short time, I've kind of blended them all together in a roundabout way, which has been really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And I'm very happy and grateful to get to do it every single day, man. It's been really cool to see stretching evolve for me personally, and then obviously for clients. But I think just even someone like yourself to see other people in the world honestly get it, and then just kind of evolve and get the more the more of us there is, the more people we can help and kind of give that the missing piece. I find right as we get a lot of feedback from people, so that's pretty much it, man. And then I'm super happy to spend some time with you and give a little bit of back and give some of my own personal experience and knowledge and hopefully, impact some people. Just like you said, when you were trying to research, there wasn't a lot of information and you're not wrong other than the books and the things that you're, giving. So I think this is a really cool resource to get for other people just to have a different perspective from everyone else. So I'm kind of very off, like, the opportunity is super cool for me. And I'm very grateful for doing it. So appreciate you.
Yes, man. Yeah, totally. That's the reason why I did this. And I hope that future practitioners can, dive in, listen to all the different people like yourself with different perspective, different viewpoints on fascia stretch therapy. So
100%, man.
So let's go back a little bit. How did you get started? Is this something that you always wanted to do? As far as fascia, personal training?
Yeah, I worked in a corporate gym. That'd be the equivalent if you're in the States to like LA Fitness. If you're in Canada, it's known as Good Life Fitness. So I was actually introduced to FST. I was on the management side, so I wasn't on the training side as of it yet. I just actively just like to work out. But one of my trainers that I was at the club I was running, she was giving me FST. So it was actually a sold service that we were able to get. Being an office job, being pretty active, massage and stuff like that wasn't always accessible, or did I have the time? But having the FST was I really found really results for me, like, personally. So I was back in like 20, I want to say like 2017, even 2018. So I've been very well known to FST, but as a client, not as delivering it. So it's pretty cool. And then during COVID, I quit Good Life, worked at like a grocery store. It would be the equivalent of like a Joe's in the States, but we call it Farm Boy, which is pretty sick. But yo, dude, man, long hours. And again, I had where I was living, there was a woman offering massage and FST, but I would only go for FST. And I was literally, she like one time she's like, why don't you just do it on your own? And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Like I'm pretty sure I'm very capable of doing it. So I tried it out, gave the money up for the first level in Canada, took it, fell in love, was very talented at it, immediately started practicing like the next day that I got back from the course, was able to book a bunch, like 40 clients within my first month of being open as an FST practitioner, and then literally end up working another job so I can still balance the two to save up for my level two. So I got level one and two in the same year because I went like right after each other because I was just this is sick. And then I haven't really stopped, man. I continually just opened up for different locations because I moved quite a bit through it. So I love the results I was getting from FST. And then once I had that confidence after the level one of seeing what I can do and getting that feedback from all the teachers and everyone like that, I was like, all right, I got to give this to the world, man. Like, there's no stopping me. And I just had that mindset. I still carry that mindset to this day. And it's really about us helping as many people as I truly can, especially the people that seem that they couldn't have that help, right? Like I
Sure.
mean, even in the early experience, you've got like, I would call it no short of a miracle, but it's like people are like, oh my God, this is amazing what they're feeling. The things that I've been able to see and feel and just get off the table that I haven't had in any treatment in my own personal experience. Like I've been getting work done on myself since I was a kid. My parents have always really believed in that. So I've been seeing chiros, massage, you name it, I've done it. But FST was just always something that just hit different. And I wanted to have that same experience for every single person that I saw. So yeah, man, I wanted to open my own business to do that, right? So in a corporate business, or if you work at a clinic, you're kind of handcuffed in what you can do just because of how things are. It's just like yourself. And, I think any therapist going through level 1 and 2 or even level 1, like the main goal should be to go on your own because you have that flexibility and you can make things how you want it to be. And that's the beautiful thing of stretching is that we all learn the same techniques, but we deliver it in a different way, right? So
Mm.
it's more how you're giving that treatment versus what the actual treatment is supposed to be, which I find is the cool part. And yeah, man, like it's been a really beautiful experience. And then I took my level 3 in Arizona just in December, and then I'm registered for level 4. So I'm going to be going to level 4 in March. So I'll be on the second group of people getting level 4. So like I said, I'm hooked. I have life stretch as well. So I can lead group
Okay.
stretching, which I've done before. So yeah, man, like stretching is, so I'm Stretch Master Flex. Like I gotta live up to the hype of the name. I have to deliver, you know? When you make a statement that way, you have to go all in. So
Yeah.
yeah, opening your own location and I've done it like 3 different times. I've worked at clinics and had my own space, but this is the first time I've had in Belleville. This is the first thing where I've owned it my own. I've had my own like structure. I can do essentially how I wanted to deliver it and everything like that. And it's been the best. So I cannot complain. And it's all because of the people I have, right? You can be
Hmm.
very talented and not be busy. So you have to, I find having clients and being very, gifted in your talents and just being really real is why I do very successful. And when I went to level 3, I actually got to talk with Chris just about how, because he asked like, hey, how do you be like, how's your business? And I showed him my schedule. I was like, whoa, so what are you doing? And then I would, give him a little bit of tips and stuff like that and tell him what I was doing and stuff. Cause I come from a business mindset, like when I was
Sure.
running businesses before. So being able to marry the two for me personally wasn't very hard. If anything, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm always, it's more, but the cool part is it's not even like it's business, but you're helping someone, right? So
Hmm.
it's not, you never feel unmotivated to try to get an appointment or rebook someone when you thoroughly know that it's going to help them out. It's just a matter of time and, flexibility and sometimes finances. But when you run your own thing, you have a little bit of flexibility with that, right? So that's why I feel I've been really good and really successful and I'm not really stopping. And adding the training side of it just naturally came because a lot of the work that we need to stabilize and there's only so much we can do on the table. We need them to do some, homework if you want to call it that. But as
Sure.
I say, just make your life a lot better. So that's what I've flipped some FST to PT and I flipped some PT to FST. I've had some just flip flop between the two. And I've had the privilege of working with a lot of professional athletes in my time. So I've been privy to some high level treatments and some knowledge that I've been able to gain just through those treatments as well too. So yeah, man, it's been good. It's not done yet. We're just growing. We're just getting cooking.
Yeah, and that's crazy because here in Maryland, I've probably had a few, five people who are doing FST. They're active, but in Canada, it's just blowing up. So crazy.
It is. It is crazy.
I heard
Yeah,
I
for
heard of
sure.
a fact that the stretch to win Canada is outnumbered stretch to win here in US as far as practitioner one.
I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, for sure. But I think there's just more people, right? Like it's
Hmm.
hard, like the sheer size of America, obviously, there's a lot more population. But what I
Hmm.
will say is that there is some people flying, it's cheaper to fly into Canada, right? So, because when I went to Canada, there was a lot of international students or people that I met, and I was like, whoa, why'd you come here? I knew a guy from Netherlands, bro. He flew. He
Yeah.
said it was financially more. It was more cost effective for them to fly to Canada than it was to the States. So sometimes it's just logistics, bro. But it is blowing up. Like I'm not taking anything away from Stretch to Win. I love like they are the reason why I fell in love with it because I got to take that one course.
Hmm.
But getting to experience both sides, like getting to experience Stretch to Win Canada and then obviously the Stretch to Win Headquarters Institute. deliverance of the courses, that's pretty dope. So if I could recommend anything to any practitioner getting into the game, if you obviously if you're in the States, hey, if you can get to Arizona, do it for sure. If you can't, Stretch to Win in Canada is definitely such a really great option. But I personally find getting to learn from both sides, you just elevate your game, right? Then you've
Mm-hmm.
gotten to learn from 8 different instructors and Chris. Like there's when you're learning from the creators of what you're doing, it doesn't really get much better than that, right? So, and it's still all love, right? All love either way you go. It's the exact same community. But I liked Arizona the most, obviously, just because I got to have that connection, and it was like my third level,
Mm-hmm.
having like the anticipation building up. You hear about Ann and Chris, you hear all these stories, then you're chilling, you see Ann and Chris in front of you, you're like, man, they give you a hug, you're like, whoa, yeah, it's wild, yeah, it's crazy, it's wild, bro, it's cool. Like you're cheating on them, right? Like you're demonstrating on them, and they're watching you doing what you're doing and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would definitely say if you get level 1 in Canada, save it up. Try level 2 in Arizona, right? Get the both hands of the touch, right? Get both levels, get both sides if you can. I
Mm-hmm.
like to say make a trip out of it. And then the fortunate part is if you're running your own business, you kind of allow a little bit of expenses
Sure.
to occur. So keep those receipts. Knowledge is power, man, right? The more you know, the more you can help someone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my goal, why I leveled up so quickly, is I didn't want to get stuck.
Mm.
So you always hear when you're getting the treatment, okay, when you get stuck or blah blah blah. I didn't want to. I wanted to eliminate that. Right. So the only time that doesn't happen to me anymore. Really, it really doesn't, which is really cool. I've taken on some cases. I've taken on very complex things. I don't like to say no. I stay in my lane, obviously, but I will always try to help someone. I think FST, you can, if you do it right, you can literally help any single person.
Mm.
Obviously within limitations, there's the part you have, but I really think everyone can benefit, and I've proven that by doing what we do as of you, and so are we as therapists and practitioners, and from part of Stretch to Win. Yeah, man, it's pretty cool to see the impact and to see how much it's growing in Canada. And I always, anytime I go places or I get someone on a table that I think would be great, I tell them, listen, I think you should try it out. I think you should go and register. Check it out. I think you'd be great. I really empower that because the more that there is for us, the more that there is for people to have with therapists as options, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, man, I believe it's good. I believe it is the new way of treatment for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been around a long time, which is funny, but it's just coming to life now. And they're doing a lot of big things with Stretch to Win in the States where they're getting it. They just did a study, right, with the University of Phoenix, so that's going
Mm-hmm.
to be more published. So it's just blowing up. A lot of professional teams, their therapists have FST and use it. So it's more underground than people think, but I think social media has been the real reason why it's so prevalent. Because I can post videos online, which has gotten crazy views, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, freaking, I'm cooking, bro. Just coming out." Like, we're releasing. I'm moving the body the way it should be, right? So
Uh-huh.
I think the social media changed the game for FST and to make it more visible and accessible and also more curiosity, right? And it
Sure.
made people like, what is that? And that's how I really got busy, right? Is with straight social media, man. Social media referrals, and then I just didn't stop. And now I don't have to pump out as much content, I'll be honest, to get appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just, if I do, I pump more personal life stuff and stuff like that. But in the beginning, it was like every day, every other day, I'm pumping the stretch out. I'm saying what it was, just so people understood what I'm doing, right? Because
Okay.
it looks cool, but if you don't know what it is, right? They're like, okay, so you say you're doing like, a sack of buns, but are you explaining what that doing? Or is it just like, why is this person's leg up on the air like that, right? So it's kind of how you worded it and how you did it. And that's trial and error. I wasn't afraid to put myself out there. And
Mm.
that's a big reason why I learned a lot, but also why I was also very successful is because you're obviously able to take feedback and get things like that as well too. So yeah, man, it's been really cool.
That's beautiful, man. So much nuggets. So the type of people that you're stretching, is it just varies from 18 to 70, active, sedentary? I mean,
Yeah, in the beginning, I took everyone. So I stretched as young as like 3, 4 year old people, as old as like 85. Right now, I would say the main demographic I have I would say is athletes. A lot of my clients perform on a level of athletics outside of their daily life. On top of,
Mm-hmm.
I do have some professional athletes. I have two NHL players on my roster right now. In the beginning, when I started, I was more in the bodybuilding community. So I worked at a gym called Pure Muscle and Fitness, and
Okay.
I had five athletes go to the Mr. Olympia. So I was treating them leading up into that contest for posing and stuff like that. Mainly, my main goal when I started was to work with athletes. Like, I want to go work for a professional sports team. I like NFL. I'm like, I'm going to be on an NFL team. And then I was seeing what I was able to do with just like regular, with just everyone on my table. I was like, maybe I don't want to go there because then I'm going to be stuck to, like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
now I just blended. Now it's just like, it's sort of kind of organically unfolded. But a lot of my people, I will say, no matter what they do, play a competitive sport, they're at a pretty high level and they're repeat clients. So a lot of my
Mm-hmm.
people are seeing me either once a week, every 2 weeks. Sometimes I have people twice a week. My NHL guys are coming in twice a week, sometimes three, depending on what's going on. So I've been able to kind of manage that, and that's what I put out too as well, right? I'm pretty real with who I want to be working with. Not to
Mm-hmm.
say I would not help anyone, because I obviously have people that see me once a month or once every 2 months, or they come as a family. But predominantly, my passion is someone that is performing because then we're getting real time feedback and we're getting those instant results, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
off the table. Like I love treating. Like when I first started, you're getting your everyday workers, or I have a lot of realtors, I have a lot of entrepreneurs, I have a lot of people that run their own business, so a lot of like people like ourselves, right? I have to have a lot of therapists, so I have about 3 or 4 different therapists that I see, two massage, two FST, so we treat each other. So I'm like the go-to person in this area anyways, because of the levels that I've taken and what I've been able to kind of create, and my accessibility too, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
available whenever they need me to be. I don't have kids. I have dogs, which are my kids. I love them, but I can, leave them at home for a bit and not have to worry.
Yeah.
Or bring them to the office, which is cool. Dogs and stretches have been a good time. But yeah, athletes and people that are in the sport are really where I'm playing right now. And that's where a lot of my referrals have been coming from. So I partnered with a lot of CrossFit gyms when I first got here. I partnered with where I live is called Belleville. So I have the Belleville Senators AHL team, which have contracts for the Ottawa Senators. So that's where I picked up some of my other players from there. And then my realtors, they just found me through Instagram, and I've collabed with a lot of different people in the area. And then literally when I would go get a massage from people or my therapist, I'm like, who's treating you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
man, I've been wanting to come in. I'm like, let's get you in. And I'll book them right on the spot, on God. Like, I'll have my book, everything's on my phone. I get them in and I get them to, and they're like, wow. And I have a lot of barbers and hairstylists. So people that are
Yeah.
physical, right? Physicality to me is a big thing. Not that I don't love to have anyone on my table, but for me, I like to get the real feedback. So like, hit me, how did it feel at work? Or how did it feel when you were cutting hair? Or when you're playing sport? Or how is, like, I'll go watch my athletes and when they're playing their games, if I'm fortunate enough to see their home games. So I'm like, hey, I noticed this happened. And they're like, wow. So I'm very well invested in that. And I find those people, to be honest, if you're looking at the client gain financially perspective, they're always using their body. They're always
Mm-hmm.
going to want to come back and get you, right? So you're able to build a lot more frequency. So in the beginning, my goal was to treat 100 clients. Now I changed it to do 100 appointments, and some of them are repeat people, right? So it's more like I want to get one person coming in 8 times or whatever, like 4 times a week, a month is actually what I want to do, or 2 times. And then if I can just do that multiple times, then they're always feeling so good. So when I get people here, you've seen it, they come off the table, they're like, wow, I want that all the time. You're like, absolutely, we need to get you in this frequency so you feel this way all the time. To say, okay, and you just book it and you just make it happen, right? So
Yeah.
that's, and I'm very real. I'm very direct with how you approach it, because I tell the person you have one body. That's
Mm-hmm.
it, man, right? Like, you got to take care of it now. A lot of the times, the athletes or the people that play a sport or are physically demanding on their body will understand that, right? So that's what, and it's like, again, that's just who I personally like to see. And ironically, that's what my clients are, but that's what I've put out there, right? Um, yeah, I've definitely treated a lot of different clients. I had one case study that I was presented, that I got to present in front of like my class at Stretch to Win, and Ann and Chris, if they picked it, and
Uh-huh.
that was a pretty rare case. So that was a really cool opportunity. And
Tell me, what was it?
yeah. So it was a woman that had a rare genetic disorder called GNOA1. And
Mm-hmm.
what that means is she's nonverbal. She has to eat through a feeding tube, and she has uncontrollable muscle spasms. So like at some point she would just be, in a proper, I guess like she'd be sitting like this, and then all of a sudden she would like concave and her body would cross and it would seize up. So I was able to use FST and energy work. So a lot of similarities that we learned in level three, and then just a lot of down regulation. And I was able to have her like actually, so I would show up and say she'd be like not contorted, but she would be in a spasm, and have her be able to lay straight and like smile and have movement throughout her whole entire body. So I saw her for about 2 months every single week for about 30 minutes. And it was like one of the most beautiful experiences after I've ever seen. Like, I would cry sometimes after leaving just because like to see the impact that you would have on someone's life. Because she goes to school, right? She was a high school kid. She
Mm-hmm.
like Ariana Grande, so I'd put that on as music. I would bring her crystals. Yeah, bro. Like we would travel. Like she would be able to communicate with me. She just wouldn't be able to verbally speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would have ways that we would communicate. We did some strength training exercises because that was from part of our rehab. So like stabilizing her pelvis, stuff like that. So at level two, there's a move where they're prone, and it's called Who's Your Neighbor? And you like slide. And I remember learning it from, I think Robert might have been one of your instructors if you learned. So Robert was demonstrating it, and he actually, in his background, has treated people that were wheelchair bound. And my client was chair bound, but also had like a walker depending on the day. So
Mm-hmm.
him and I actually shared messages back and forth while I was doing my case study with her. So he was giving me a lot of like feedback. I'd send him pictures and stuff. So you are not alone. Like once you graduate from whatever level, they are there like 100%. I know they say that, but I was messaging Robert back and forth, giving him pictures, voice noting him and stuff like that. So I was able to implement a move that I learned on my client before like going into level three. So it was really, really cool. And I got picked to present in front of Ann and Chris and 30 different people that I haven't met. Well, they were family at that point, and it was
Yeah.
like on the last day. So it was really, really wild, man. Yeah, I bawled my eyes out there. It was pretty cool. But it's beautiful to see. So that's why I like to take cases like that, obviously now too. But the
Mm-hmm.
demographic that I predominantly got, like if I looked at my roster, that's a lot of people that play sports, that are high level athletes or that are very hard on their body, nurses, hairstylists, the people that keep us looking good and healthy. They need a little bit of love too, and I'm normally that person to give them to them in my area, anyways.
Okay. Man, dude, man, bro, you're hitting all the questions I was gonna ask you, but
Man, I was listening to the podcast. You
I
told me
know,
to do my homework,
I
so I
know, man.
listened to it,
I,
so
I,
so it can just be seamless for you.
I appreciate it because I don't have to be so robotic and asking questions. I
Yeah,
love that,
no, you're
man.
good.
Thank
You're
you.
good. Yeah, bro. I was of pure intention. My life is to make your life easy, brother. That's it, man. I know you're a
Uh,
busy guy.
all right, so here's this one. So the
Yes.
golden question of what is fascia? If you had to explain to someone simplicity, what is fascia? Why
Yeah.
is it so important?
So yeah, I like this. So I literally say fascia is like your connective tissue. So it holds everything in place from the bottom of your feet all the way up into your head. Every single thing that you have in your body has that connection. Is really what I say to it. And then what I say on the tree, and I'm a visual guy, so I like to show them the anatomy trains. Like I have some of like pictures and I'll have it on my phone and I'll actually send them sometimes in the appointment. Hey, just so you know. So I literally say there's so many different variations, like videos and stuff on what it is. I just like to say keep it simple. Connective tissue that holds your muscles and everything in together. It's inside of you. It's on the outside. It's crazy cool because it holds emotions and trauma and happy, sad, all these things. And what we do as therapists is we connect the dots, is what I say. So sometimes you come in and your body is, your guts are a little bit, which way or this way, crisscross. We get everything back aligned. We get your dots ready to go. So you stand up and you're like, and you can just get your body moving. So I say literally anything that you felt was a little bit off, you're going to feel that it's right again, right? And that's a big way of keeping it simple. I also, what I do as a tidbit, when I have them on the table, I'll do a couple stretches or, one or two, and I'll be like, okay, we're not done, but hop off. And I get them to walk around and get that real time feedback. So you're building how they're feeling in that connection because I'm a visual and kinesthetic guy. I'll do a lot of like, here's the before and after of your one stretch that I did the pec or the hand, whatever I'm doing. And I show it to them in my session. Here, check this out. They're like, whoa, what the heck? And I send it to them and said, yeah, man, that's what you're doing. So like, it is hard to explain, and I love that you say that because everyone describes it differently. But I kind of keep it as FST as possible, just so I don't waver. You know what I mean? But I'm a visual guy, so I'm like, here, just check this out. There's an example of fascia. This is the anatomy train. I love when someone comes in and they say, I'm feeling, some restriction here. I'll pull up the anatomy train, or if I have it, say, point to the number. So
Mm-hmm.
then for you as a therapist, you're like, oh, okay, that's a superficial front line. So that means if I stay within those ones, I'm going to hit it no matter what, right? So it gives you like the cheat code a little bit. So I really do like to talk to people and less clinical, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you go in and they're like, okay, let me just do this. No, like, or I'll say point to me, like point to my body part. Because people aren't very descriptive, like my back hurts. Okay, well, how's your glutes and your hammies? You know what I mean? It's not like they're like, I don't really know, right? So yeah, that's what I like to describe it as. I keep it pretty simple. I like to say we reconnect the dots that are kind of crisscrossed and out of whack in your body as we move around and do, fun, exciting things as working out or playing sports, or even just sometimes when we sit for too long, things
Mm.
get a little bit sketchy, right?
Yeah,
So,
bro.
and I do say the down regulation is probably why down regulation and traction is why FST is the GOAT, right? That
Yeah.
those two things, man, if you hit that, they kind of go hand in hand, but you have to have a flow in order to down regulate somebody. You can be like rammy and jolty with stretches. I've done it. I've had it done on me. When you're learning, you're not smooth yet, right? So I find the traction. If you can nail the traction, and that's what separates FST, I feel, from any other
Assisted
treatment.
stretching.
Yeah, right. Because I've been in the States. I got stretched at the Stretch Lab, or whatever it's called, or Stretch. I think it's called Stretch Lab.
Yeah.
They hurt me, bro. Like they were over. Like they lose a lot. Like they called it the PNF, but it wasn't a good thing. And I'm not trying to knock them. I know I kind of just did. It was the one location I went to. I'll call them out in Lexington. It wasn't the experience that I've had being a practice. You know what I mean? Being a specialist, being what I have underneath, and being what I've experienced from other FST therapists. It
Mm-hmm.
was way different, and they didn't use any traction at all. Like zero traction, right? And I was like, well. Interesting. So there's a lot of stretching, like you're right. Like when you look up stretching, you see a lot of assisted stretching, you see a lot of like kind of manual osteopathic AT kind of stuff, which is still all very beneficial, but you don't really see like FST and the flow of it, right? So that's why I feel, putting yourself out there, showing what FST is, staying, within the guidelines that you're allowed to be in, and sharing it and tagging FST too, so they share it and they can maybe even use it is
Mm-hmm.
super, super cool, right? Because you only get access to those things once you're, obviously a graduate and you're registered.
Yeah.
But you can show it. You just need to be, mindful and things like that on what you're doing. But I think the best part about explaining fascia is that everyone understands it differently,
Mm.
right? So you kind of just got to find what they relate to and be like, oh, it's cool. It's kind of like this, right? Like a realtor, I was like, it's kind of like the foundation of your house. You know what I mean? And they're like, well, I was like, all right, yeah, that's what it is, right? And they're like, okay, so I kind of try to relate it to what they would understand in a profession, but the connect the dots thing has worked the best for me since I started, even until now. And I work with a little, some youth and some kids and stuff like that. So sometimes trying to explain what I'm doing to them isn't always, easy. So a lot, just try to keep it simple as possible.
So with everything happening in the past several years, what are some of your big goals that you have coming up in the next few years? What are you looking to
Yeah,
do?
yeah. Essentially, like I'm growing this business here. I want to get a bigger facility, so I want to start to help other therapists get started. So when I was getting going, I worked at like 4 different clinics. I was paying like some rent here. I had one spot. I was driving. I was doing mobile because I was hustling, bro. I'd go to people's. I'd go to houses. I'd go to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a grind. And just like you're doing with people on, with the podcast, I want to do it, but with in person. So my goal is to open up a bigger facility that I have now, which I'm very grateful to have, but I want to get more and then get people get certified and then have a spot to practice and not have
Mm-hmm.
to, be in such a, like the deficit, right? Like, so, hey, don't bail out paying the rent yet. Let me, like, you can practice on me. Like, make it a clinic, not really like take away what FST is doing because I would never want to do that, but just be a foundation of a place to learn and have a spot to try to make it, right? Like be able to get some clients, be able to build a business, be able to get some, your foot in the door because it might not be their full-time gig yet, right? Maybe they're doing
Sure.
this on the side just to start off, right? So doing it at your house isn't always nice sometimes, right? You want to have that separation, So that's my goal. And I've been able to refer a lot of people to Stretch2Win to get certified. And I've had other therapists reach out to me for conversations in the States, in Canada, because I put myself out there, right? They know that I'm very readily available. I'll never not say no to a conversation to help. But that's the goal, man. To try to almost just be like another avenue for someone looking to get into stretching that to have. And then obviously with more people underneath in one space, we can help more people that way. And I want to get some gym, like more of a gym facility. So I have like a small training, like I say, it's private training, but my
Mm-hmm.
passion is to get like a bigger training facility so I can have like the two together. So we have like the training facility where we're able to, do classes, life stretch stuff, kind of things like that. And then have the other therapists working together and not just FST, like I'd like to bring on some other things as well, but FST is really my passion. So I really want to, I like to go all in on that. But I find it would be such a benefit to have, a spot where you can go and get an opportunity, right? Because it's not cheap, right? It is very expensive to get going, and there's a risk.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can minimize the risk as much as possible for someone, who knows what they're capable of doing, right? Like when you
Sure.
got to shoot, when you got to throw, just a football, when you go to make a play, and you already know you're like 20 points up, you're gonna bomb it, right? But if you have that pressure, it's like you're gonna kill it, but you're always that, So, but you always perform. Some people perform well under pressure, but I think as humans,
Mm-hmm.
having a little bit of consistency and like some support, we excel. We thoroughly excel as what we do. So that's the main goal, man, and it's going to happen for sure. The sports team is definitely something on the is definitely I want to try. So when I get my level 4, I'm actually going to apply and put my name out to some teams just because I'll have the sport specific, I'll have the highest level, I'll have a lot of tenureship, I'll have some, some good cases that I can kind of leverage
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens, man. I mean, I already right now I have like for the clout, I guess, if you want to say like I got it. I have professional athletes, but I want more of the experience, and I want to be able to extend athletes' careers by 3 to 5 years. That's my
Mm-hmm.
goal. So when I get someone on the table and I say, "Would you play?" I want to make that extended, extend your time by 3 to 5 years. And we're going to do that by doing what we do here. And a lot of the times it works, right? I'm helping a lot of people do some pretty cool stuff. One of my NHL guys, his mom saw me at the game and said, "I've never seen my son move so well since he's met you." And that's his mom, who's been taking him to games since he's 3 years old, bro. The guy went to the World Juniors, he's won a gold medal. Like I almost bawled my eyes out. His grandma waves at me at the game. So it's not, it doesn't just end in the table, it goes, it impacts the person's life, their family.
Mm-hmm.
My other guy, my NHL guy, he comes off the table. He said, "My mood's so much better. I have confidence on the ice." So, and that's just an experience I'm using as a high level. I also have, people. I treated a couple women that were pregnant, and they said like I was able to sleep when after that. So there's like a whole sequence you can do for pregnancy through the FST that I was able to deliver.
Yeah.
So as much as I've been able to help, the NHL guys be better, I've been helping moms sleep at night that have been struggling, that were pregnant and different things. So just to have that accessibility and do that on a bigger scale is the goal. And I'm not stopping, man. It's just the beginning for me. I'm still hungry physically, and mentally and energetically, and just passionate about what I want to do. And I think the more that we can put it out there, and the more there's people like yourself and I, and just everyone else who's had on the podcast and making well known, that
Mm-hmm.
we're only going to win, right? And it's going to be the go-to treatment.
Yeah.
And the cool part is there's so many more people in the world than there is therapists right now, so we're all going to eat. Like there's no shortage of people, man. There really isn't, right? So yeah, you just gotta put it out there and spread love, man. Every treatment I go into, my intent is just to help
Mm-hmm.
with full care and full love for what I do and for what that person is going to be able to do afterwards. And that is it. And as long as you approach every single session like that and every person you meet, you will always win at the end of the day, man. You can never have a bad treatment when your intention is just to help. And that's what I've learned in my experience. And that's what I learned, going to these things. And just from doing it every day, it's the biggest thing you can do, man, for sure.
Bro, thank you so much. My last
Appreciate you,
question for
man.
you before I sign
100%.
off. So, what are some effective marketing strategies for someone who's starting off
Yeah,
in this FSC practice? What did you
I
do
love it.
that you
I love
found
it.
success to get
Yeah,
clients?
definitely. Definitely. So on a like social media aspect, you got to be posting at least 3 to 4 times a week. And then I know that seems like a lot, but I would pick a series. So pick the lower body series
Mm-hmm.
and post 3 videos of, hey, we're going to start off with the series and then do that, right? Stories work a lot better than posts, I found, just because we live in a very short attention span world. I'm going to keep it real, right?
Yeah.
That worked really well for me. Collabing with other businesses worked really well. So I do
Okay.
like pop-ups and stuff like that in person. So I wasn't afraid to go to the CrossFit gym and say, hey, I just want to give some 5-minute demos out to, some people. I never did more than a 10-minute demo. After 10
Mm.
minutes, you're paying me. You're giving me money. So if you're
Okay.
doing 15 minutes too long, because then you can try, I have a half an hour session price. So you can do
Yeah.
half an hour sessions, right?
Yeah.
So I never gave away more than I had to. I used to, and it didn't really come back to me. I'll be real. And so I would do social media posts, stories, videos all day, follow a lot of other businesses, right? So follow businesses too, and like go visit them in person, pair up with a lot of gyms, and gym goers are your bread and butter, man, because they like to go and beat themselves up all the time, right? So that would be what I would do. But also, a lot of us are very interested in something ourselves, right? So whatever you're interested in, put yourself out there and tell people what you're doing, and don't be afraid to bring your table somewhere and do a pop up, right? Like if you live in a town or if you live in an area where it's always nice, like the amount of times I've popped up and just like even if you have a family member start stretching them on the table, someone's gonna be like, "What is this?" Like, oh, it's FST, man. You want a 5-minute demo? This is and have a QR code that they can scan
Uh-huh.
and book directly for you, right? The amount of times that I would have to get a name and number and try to book someone else after, I did it. It was very frustrating. Create a booking link,
Okay.
right? And I have direct booking right now. And bro, I send someone a link to see your schedule, they book. You're too busy to manage that, right? Like I wanted to be like, I compared myself, I was on another podcast. I call
Uh-huh.
myself the LeBron James of stretching. I just want to show up and do what I need to do. So
Yeah.
put things in place where you can do what you need to do, right? Have a booking link, have someone where they can directly see your schedule, prepay your booking percentage too. So have a card where they prepay the appointment and you
Mm-hmm.
avoid the no-show. If they no-show, they paid you, right? Because as a
Mm.
like this is your time, right?
Yes.
And honestly, I would say for a marketing tactic, keep it really real, right? Tell the person what you're going to do, right? Like I find a lot of times where it's like, yeah, you're gonna feel great, that's for sure. But it's like just be, you know what I mean? Be specific. So like, hey, do you sit at a desk job for 9 to 5 and have really tight glutes? Okay, cool. Well, here's an assisted stretch. Here's a great glute stretch you can do. But this is
Mm-hmm.
why we're doing this stretch, and then get some real testimonials. I put a lot of testimonials out after a while, and
Okay.
those came back to me, man. Yeah. So get like feedback. Hey, how did you feel coming in? How did you feel leaving? Put that out there. And I'll really realistically, you won't lose that way. Like you got to just you have to treat it like a business, but you get to have fun with it, right? Everything you're showing is something that you truly love.
Sure.
So it's not really bad, right? But I would say that for sure. Social media, pair up with local businesses, whatever you're involved in, tell them what you're doing and have your booking system and a schedule available readily and like a couple months in advance. Because some people I've had booked like 3 or 4 months in advance. So they're
Mm.
already set. Some people roll that way. So make it accessible. Make it so easy for the person that they have to book, right?
Mm.
That's what I would say. Because in the beginning, we all know, once you get them on the table one time, it's over. Like you
Yeah.
have them as a client for life, 100%. You gotta just get them there, right? So
Mm.
no more 15-minute demos. Do not do that. 5 to 10 minutes. Whatever. Be like, what's your one thing that's bothering you? Stretch that. That's it.
Okay.
And then
Got
say,
it.
hey, you need to see me for the rest of it. And then you have a client for life. I've done it numerous times. I've gotten numerous clients that way,
Got
100%.
it.
Don't
Dude.
give away all your juice, man. Don't give it away.
No, sir. Bro, it's been fun, man. I appreciate the time, your
Appreciate it, man.
knowledge,
Likewise.
the
Thank you.
drops. So let's close it off by
Thank you.
having you share your social, your
Yep.
website, and email, and then
Yeah.
the physical work location people can book your FST
Yeah,
at.
absolutely, absolutely. So my handle is at StretchMasterFlex. My website is www.positivepathperformance.com. Email is at stretchmasterflex@gmail.com. I'm in Belleville, Ontario. So when you go to that website, you'll see the direct location. You just click that. On my schedule, you can prepay your appointment. So you all have to do is show up and then feel relaxed and blessed after you leave. That's it, man.
Bro, thank you so much. And
Appreciate you, Ian. Thank
for
you.
those of you who are looking to go get certified to do fascia stretch therapy, go to stretch2go.com. We can learn all about everything
100%.
and everything. where Andrew and I got our certification. So follow
Definitely.
Stretch2Go, follow Andrew, and everyone. Have a great day.
Appreciate you. All right, brother. Be in touch.
See you, bro.
Bye, man.